Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today I'm seeing POPSTAR, Never Stop, Never Stopping. This is apparently a parody of just, this is a parody movie of concert movies. You know, like that Katy Perry Born to Be Me, or that One Direction movie, or this one in particular its title is taken from the Justin Bieber film. It was like never stop, never say never. That's what it was. That's that movie. God, it took me a while. Justin Bieber's so out of the spotlight now. It's kind of beautiful. Here's the thing. Movie satires in general are awful nowadays, mostly because since the days of Mel Brooks, it seems like everyone has completely forgotten how to actually tell a joke correctly in a satire. So, not very fair to this movie. I haven't seen any clips of it. I don't know who's involved in the production, but most likely, it's not going to be very funny. Although the concept is something I can totally get behind. I despise concert movies. I am so thankful that in the over a year now that I have been watching movies at this frequency that a concert movie hasn't gone through, because they're basically nothing. They're really cheap-ass documentary types. Well, no, pseudo-documentaries, because they edit what people look like in them, like how Bieber actually acts and stuff. They're so manipulative and so boring. Like, let me tell you, it seems like most of these singers are just incredibly dull people outside of their singing stuff. Like, I saw part of this Hannah Montana one, like back when Miley Cyrus was still under Disney's control. Such a boring movie. I don't know, maybe she was actually that boring that back then. Maybe just the people who make the movie refuse to show any character because it's too edgy. I don't know. But yeah, just I hate that genre of movies in and of itself. They're so dull. Yeah, probably the worst part for me is when, like, it's probably in movies where it's almost like a parallel, because, like, I think in that Hannah Montana one, the Disney Corporation refused to let, like, Hannah Montana actually say anything, because they want to keep it about the image. I don't know. And in the, which I think is bad, but then I watch movies where they do the exact opposite, like Shut Up and Sing, which people like that movie, but bear in mind, like, Shut Up and Sing, it's about the what are they called, it's this group of singers who basically said a nasty thing about George Bush while he was a president, and sparked a whole bunch of controversy. The thing is, when I watch that movie, I enjoy the controversy stuff, because that's interesting, and that's, like, makes sense. Like, basically, almost all the stuff that isn't directly involving the Dixie Chicks, that's who it is, that isn't directly involving the Dixie Chicks, that's cool. I enjoy that. But when the Dixie Chicks are actually talking on the subjects, it's cringeworthy. Like, why am I listening to the political opinions of the fucking Dixie Chicks? Like, like, why am I, jeez. I feel the same way about practically anyone I actually like in singing. Like, if I were to watch a Weird Al documentary, And for whatever reason, they just went typical documentary style, in which case, shame on you if that actually happens. And they just have they just, like, record Weird Al spouting off his political views for 20 minutes. Like, I'd also be wondering why the fuck I'm watching this. I like Weird Al, I think he's funny, but why should I care about what he thinks about politics? I feel the same way about the Dixie Chicks. Like, sure, cool, you made a stand against George Bush, that's cool, but, like, I don't fucking care about you. I don't care about your politics. But maybe that was the point of the movie, like, the movie's called Shut Up and Sing, so, and that's the point. I don't know. Like, I don't know, I wasn't too into their music either. But anyway, I'm getting way off track. I need to just talk about, like, this movie. Yeah, don't know anything specific. Let's go! Okay, I'm back. So... POPSTAR. That's pretty much my whole opinion on it. So it stars a few SNL guys, like modern SNL. Contains some SNL-ish humor, but it's not particularly funny. Like, I did laugh a few times, but it's not a very engaging film. It feels very long despite being only an hour and 20 minutes, which is short for most movies. Like, it dragged. I think one of the main problems here is just that, like, I personally think that these, like, concert documentary types are just super lazy in general, so they tend to drag for me. And this movie, like, it's trying to emulate that style, and of course, it's incredibly boring because it's emulating that style. Like, a lot of people enjoy, This is Spinal Tap, but I actually can't get through it because it is way too similar to these kinds of documentaries. It's so dull to me. And this movie, honestly, if you're looking for it, they do cut out a lot of the fat that these documentaries do. It's just that the style of it is dull. And that's just inherent. But then even ignoring that, what you're left with is some pretty mediocre jokes. And yeah, just nothing really to there's nothing in this movie, like, worth seeing. There's no reason I have to recommend it at all. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but not particularly. It's not a particularly great satire, although it does satirize certain elements. But yeah. I don't know, let's pad out this review. So, the reason I don't enjoy these concert movies, I've heard them called rockumentaries before, but I will stab you in the eye with an ice pick if you call them that, because most of the time they are not about rock musicians, they're about pop musicians, or country musicians. Like, that's the Dixie Chicks movie, is country, not rock. Justin Bieber is pop, not rock. It annoys me. Spinal Tap, despite being fake, is rock. But, But, you know, some people, it's because concert documentary doesn't sound as good as rockumentary. So, I think that's what they go with, but screw you. If frickin' Katy Perry is a rock star, then Justin Bieber is a classical pianist. Okay? Anyway, the reason I find them so lazy is that from a production standpoint, the people who made them have no ideas. Like, when you think of it, when you think of a documentary like what's the, Cartel Land? You think of a documentary like Cartel Land, like, how do you know when to stop filming that? Like, they go to, interview these different people on different sides of the border. When do you know when to stop? Like, there's a whole bunch of events that happen in that movie. Like, a dude gets shot and almost dies, and this whole group almost like falters and dies, and it eventually gets taken over by the government and stuff. Like, do you stop then? Do you keep going? Is more interesting stuff going to happen? Or what about when they're filming with the drug dealers? Holy crap, are they gonna die? Like, this is an interesting thing to watch. Like, that took a lot of effort, that took a lot of research, that took a lot of just good filmmaking. And then for a concert documentary, what did they do? Well, follow them around for this tour and use their songs in the documentary so it's so, like, people pay attention for longer and, yeah, whatever. It's like an established storyline because there's a beginning and point and an end point. Whatever. We'll just film them yabbering on about their personal lives and interject it whenever we feel like it. It's so dull. Just in general. I mean, like, I guess you could say that, like, my style is kind of similar because I'm kind of yammering on about, like, movies, but at least I have a certain subject, at least I have a passion for this certain subject, which I'm just talking about. But most of the time, they aren't even talking about, like, their music. They're talking about, like, random shit. And it's annoying. Like, I wouldn't care what Muhammad Ali thinks of, like... Oh, sorry. Muhammad Ali, rest in peace. Sorry, that name just came out of nowhere. I apologize. I wouldn't care what, I gotta think of... I wouldn't care what, some baseball star thought of, a cooking show. Like, if he was just talking casually about it, like, just like, oh yeah, I watch that sometimes, it's pretty good, blah, 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 blah. Wouldn't care. What does that have to do with anything? But, yeah. There you go, I think I've dragged on for long enough. Just overall, can't say I'd recommend it. Maybe if you're, like, a huge fan of these SNL guys, but even then, this doesn't have much to offer, so. And until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been watching A Dyer-Situation.